exactly. It's yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm just speechless in anticipation for this run.
Yeah, absolutely. So this seed is a sub 2 hour guaranteed according to the uncle, as both of the runners are taking off. We've got standard link, at least it looks like it, on VioletPumpkin's side, and Unfit is rocking the Vitreous Eyeball as they pick up 300 rupees to get started.
Yeah, I do kind of love the eyeball sprite, though sometimes these sprites are like the spherical low to the ground sprites. They can be very difficult to like bomb jump with, but I'd expect that if you're willing to race with the eyeball sprite in the game, you're kind of at least practiced. Like you kind of have different cues for your bomb jumps.
Yeah, they probably go off either the shape of the sprite or maybe even the shadow. Lots of different potential visual cues, and so a hammer to start us off. It's hammer time.
Yeah, that's one of the more ideal escape weapons. Makes farming easy. Okay, well, magic pot, that's helpful. Makes farming easy and provides an access point for the dark world. Once they get a couple different items.
Yeah, it's a very positive item to start with because of that. That like additional bridge to getting into the dark world early on makes a big difference. You know, it's just one little bit less chance, perhaps you might call it, of this being an Ivy seed. Of course, randomizer being randomizer, there's really no guessing what's going to happen, but it certainly feels better.
Yeah, it's very rare to get an Augur required seed with the hammer, though I have made that statement before and been wrong, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we have to be careful. Commentator curse is in full effect this tournament. I've personally affected several races, but there is the power glove, so should be even nicer start. That feels great when you're a player. Pick up those 2 key items, just a moon pearl away from basically full dark world access.
Yeah, exactly, and that power glove means that should they not find any bombs in the prize packs off these guards and the rats that are soon to come, they won't really be too worried because they can just get back to that point at any time.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm watching both of them. Unfit's taken a couple of extra times to like kill a few extra guards, but VioletPumpkin doesn't seem to be overly concerned with farming for that bomb, at least not at this stage. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt either of these players.
I mean, you're pretty set with money, so it makes sense to just kind of, take escape and just try to get out of there as fast as possible.
So 20 rupees hanging out in the Zelda chest here as the runners now make their way out. A sub 3-minute rescue of Zelda is very quick.
Yeah, you can definitely see how fast, I mean, I guess not just the hammer, but also the removal of the text blocks from the original game make the escape.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So a couple of opportunities to smash some green guards in the back, but VioletPumpkin doesn't choose to do it. Unfit, on the other hand, does go for that first guard. Pumpkin take an opportunity now to farm for bombs. The green guards don't seem to have any bombs in their prize pack, though. Hopefully the rats, ropes, and keys in the dark part of escape will be more helpful.
Yeah, hopefully, because even though you don't need the bombs, it is still a little bit helpful to just, be able to route that check in on your way back.
Yeah, I'm sure we've said it a million times over the course of this tournament, but all of these little optimizations are what separate winners from people who come just behind. You get those little things, you perform in a way that maximizes your efficiency, and that's how you get skill at being able to claim victory.
Yeah, I mean, we did see earlier today a race that ended 1 second off of the window that it takes for a race to be declared a tie, so it can come down to something small, like taking some extra time to farm bombs. Like, hey,
There,
got one.
Violet and Unfit both pick up their bomb now, so that is going to give them opportunity to open up those 3 chests and secure their comfort zone as part of the escape sequence. It's still going to be a very fast time along the way too, so both runners getting that rat relatively early on to pick up the key. So it may not seem like much, but the 3 bombs that they just picked up is enough to activate the checks that they need to get through Kakariko Village. So it's going to allow them to route their pathway normally, not have to stop and pick up bombs. So that is another nice little situation for the runners to not have to be worried about.
Yep, exactly. Don't have to make that long detour over to the store. You can just do your normal route. Assuming you don't opt to go South Shore first.
Oh, wow. And there's the other type of Dark World access. We're just a Moon Pearl away from full Dark World access. Titan's Mitts early on is just really, really nice.
Yeah, exactly. If they can get a Moon Pearl in Kakariko Village, they'll just have instant access to the Dark World.
They'll be able to go all sorts of places. VioletPumpkin is choosing to bypass the back of Lumberjack check. Unfit picking up these big 20s out of the tree pull and heading up to see what's going on there. May give us a little bit more information. I couldn't quite see what that was on the cropping there in the Lumberjack hut.
Neither could I. Maybe it was like an upgrade or something?
It was hard to tell because it didn't have numbers on the bottom, that's for sure. I didn't see the red of a piece of heart. It could have been an important item as a result, so that might be very important information for Unfit to have picked up. We'll have to wait and see.
And meanwhile, Violet, it looks like 3 crystals in Light World, 5 and 6 on Tower of Hera in Eastern, and 7 on Desert, which is kind of friendly.
Yeah, chat kind of thinking it looked a little bit like Hookshot. Yeah, it's hard to tell from the bottom. I just saw like 2 or 3 pixels, but it looked like a narrow, squarish base. So there's a fighter sword here and Bombos medallion in Blind's hut. Very nice start. We got a weapon to go along with our hammer sword. And the piece of heart. Yeah, if Unfit starts making that play towards Aga 1, then we'll absolutely know that that was an important item.
And I'm sure if Violet gets boots at any point, she'll be able to give us that check, because, you know, obviously that item, like, it may be blocked behind boots, which we'll find in the Dark World, so hopefully we'll get that information soon. So
we're getting a look here in the, well, picking up Magic Mirror off the first item here. This is a Dark World loaded seed so far. Just missing that Moon Pearl, but lots of places to check still.
Okay.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What an insanity. Well here, everything good. Water Toes, Moon Pearl, Magic Mirror. So this seed is blowing itself wide open.
Yeah, if you wanted to right now, you could just like route like every single check from Kakariko Village to Village of Outcast to like the South Shore loop with like the Smith sequence, all the way to Catfish. The possibilities are endless right now.
Yeah, now remember, Uncle did tell us this was going to be a sub 2-hour seed. He predicted this, and I'm curious to see just what might happen. That's not my curse, that's the curse of the Uncle. So VioletPumpkin picking up that 10 bomb there, obviously, to replenish the bomb situation. Right, like all sorts of interesting routing options that you never ever have an opportunity to see open up now. As you say, it's quite possible for one of these runners to go ahead, enter Dark World, go through, say, Thieves Town, if it's a crystal, at this early juncture before going on the south route to get Hype Cave and then mirror back for Mini Moldorm. What an insane possibility.
Yeah, the very rare routing Hype Cave with Mini Moldorm Dream. This is awesome.
And wow, look at that. It is a crystal hanging out in Thieves Town, so that's really, really nice to see. And VioletPumpkin is going to perhaps go for this maximum efficiency check.
Yeah, and our pendants are all of the Mistbox dungeons. We had pendants on Totorock, Mire, and Ice Palace.
Yeah, and I'm not going to lie. Those are some great dungeons to have as pendant dungeons if this wants to be a jet seed. So we'll see what happens. A lot of money there in the chest game, but 10 arrows hanging out in the maze game. So VioletPumpkin didn't miss anything by not going to the south part of Kakariko Village.
Oh, get Sand Card from the C-shaped house.
Ooh.
Alright, and Unfit opting not for the route, just going for convention back to South Shore.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen. To see a route like this play out is going to be really interesting. Violet is making the choice, and if Violet is successful in navigating Low Heart, Green Mail, Thieves Town, and taking advantage of all of the efficiencies available in this route, the divergence is going to be immense, but also the opportunity to just gain critical seconds is going to be important. Like, this could potentially cut many, many minutes off of the standard route that we see Unfit doing right now as he's checking Hype Cave.
Yeah, exactly. So Unfit's at least going to be routing Hype Cave in with Mini Moldorm Cave, which is always fun to see, but yeah.
So Hype Cave is decidedly unhype, and that's really par for the course. VioletPumpkin picking up another full heart container along the way, so the seed is actually being very nice, giving them all of the love that they need. But it's hard to kind of expect any kind of hype in Hype Cave when so many of the important items have already been located. Wow, silver arrows in the dam.
Yeah, that's generous.
Yep. All the goodies. Like, we are 13 minutes in and have full Dark World access. We got a VioletPumpkin in a crystal dungeon in the Dark World that's completable, and 8 hearts. So you couldn't ask for a better situation, really, I don't think, at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And Unfit had the option of entering Swamp Palace there, but he's fairly wisely choosing to skip it.
Well, if Unfit did, in fact, see the hook shot on the Lumberjack Ledge, then absolutely no reason to go into Swamp Palace at this point, I think. Like,
yeah, absolutely not. You'd have to be a madman.
Yeah. So 300 rupees here, Mini Moldorm, picking up that swag neck to go along with it. A bomb capacity upgrade. There's another piece of heart that actually completed a heart container, and our first bottle of the game, complete with red goo. Oof, Violet, be very careful here.
Ooh.
Oh. You know, it is hard. The Dark World with low hearts and green mail is a tricky one, but commitment evident here as Violet goes ahead. He's going to give another shot at dealing with Thieves Town, who takes 2 unfortunate hits there. And that might spell a change in plan for VioletPumpkin. Nope. Gonna continue.
And I do respect the commitment here. Like, if you can get through these done, you can get through anything, I say. And, like, as long as you're able to dodge these red guys whose lore names I have yet to look up and probably should, like, you're golden. So, yeah.
Yeah, and really just what happened there was a very unfortunate invisible hits that happened well under one of the bridges, so you know, you can't anticipate that that would happen again.
Yeah, exactly. It's really just garbage when those guys just park under the bridge and just hide and surprise you.
So Unfit at 15 minutes in is gonna go and do a pyramid ledge check. And I would imagine that the play here will be to carry all the way up to Catfish, mirror over and do your waterfall area at Zora.
Yeah, that makes sense, though he does also have Floating Island and Hobo available to him. So he could get those later. And okay, another medallion. Oh, another medallion.
Yeah, there's a pretty good chance we don't need any of those.
Yeah. But I definitely don't like seeing those when all the medallion dungeons are pendants.
Yeah, it could be an indicator that you might actually have to head into one of those pendant dungeons, but then again, it could just be a red herring. Big chest here in Thieves Town just contains a big 20, so far haven't really discovered anything amazing. And Violet is on to the blind fight at 17 minutes in, despite a couple of deaths. Like, that's still really quick for a first crystal.
Alright, we're through the first two phases.
And
Very nice. Oh, nice!
Flew to Catfish at the same time as Violet continued to get to the first crystal at 17 minutes 38 seconds. So both players have kind of accomplished some great strides here. And Unfit does mirror over to go do Waterfall Zora area. Just a natural conclusion here. Keep in mind, VioletPumpkin has all of those South Shore checks. Hype Cave, Mini Moldorm, still to do. A couple of bombs hanging out on the Zora ledge. So this seed is a fast and furious seed right now. I have not seen one quite like this yet.
Yeah, no, all these rounding options available, and it looks like Violet is... I think she would be going to dig game, then probably starting this miss sequence.
Yeah. Now you have to do this in this order because you can't have Jeremiah following you. And the worst of life lessons from Zora. 500 for 1 rupee.
And what a way to check the race game.
Yeah, well, that's a very efficient way to have done it. Now, VioletPumpkin hadn't gone to South Shore yet, or the south part of Kakariko Village, so excellent. And it really becomes a very interesting thing because, you know, we've watched lots of games. I'm sure many of the viewers have watched plenty of Randomizer this tournament, and you don't often get to see something new. And all of this routing is very much non-standard just as a result of the items picked up so far. So great to see. Unfit is now heading over to Sick Kid, so...
And one thing worth noting, I believe Violet said that she plays a lot of entrance randomizer, and having only watched entrance randomizer myself, never really touched it. If you're gonna learn how to chain over world locations, you're gonna do it by playing entrance. So yeah, this might be that experience coming into play for Violet.
I agree. So Violet now starting the Smith check. We're gonna go up take the smith back to hammer pegs. Pick up the smith item. If the seed's being really nice, it's going to be powder somewhere up here. And Unfit is going to head to the south part of Lake Hylia. Looks like we're going to get our Hylia Island check and the hobo check as well. Oh, there's the mushroom. So for all the niceties of the seed, one of the things that is really frustrating to see if you're a player, not like game breaking or anything, but when you get a visual confirmation of a fetch quest, because it's like, does the seed want me to go do that now? Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. And now you have to think about like, okay, I need to hammer down those pigs and then walk all the way over there again. I don't think he's going to be too worried about it because, you know, he has desert area available, he has Death Mountain logically available to him.
So meanwhile, VioletPumpkin's now going to show us Stumpy and Cave 45 to go along with that height cave check. Unfit lets us know that the bacon is what's required for Misery Mire, but can't really get anywhere in there at this point, and it is a pendant dungeon, so... Just a bunch of big 20s here in the Mire Shed, as well as Cave 45.
Yeah, twin 20s. Interesting, but useless.
So Desert Ledge providing arrows. A cape. Ooh, magic cape. Is another way to get into Agate if that was something important on the Lumberjacks house or cave area.
Alright, and the desert is not boots locked, so if we find a fire source here, we can complete this dungeon.
Yeah, and well, Unfit did have a great pickup in that flute. It's very possible here that Violet might actually follow that path through to its logical conclusion as well, really taking advantage of some of the available efficiency.
Exactly. Skipping the dam check for now, maybe hoping to route that in with Swamp Palace if necessary. If she gets the hook shot here, which she won't, but...
Yeah, 5 bomb capacity plus 60 rupees, 80 if you count the guy out front. Wow, there's magic powder for Unfit. Look here at the checkerboard cave shows us that there is a bottle with a bee in it. Now Unfit's gonna be like, you know what, I'm happy with 2 bottles, I don't need a 3rd one.
Yeah, he's fine. You don't need that bee.
Yep. And this opportunity as well does provide for checking of the Gina's cave. Yeah, these runners are conspiring to give our tracker Oddwalls the hardest possible time.
Yeah, shout out to Oddwalls for doing the tracking on this one, because, yeah, we've got a lot of divergence going right now.
So where will Unfit head now? Taking the flute, opportunity up to Death Mountain would be what I'd think you would do, but no, Instead, gonna go and do Dark World now, Village of Outcasts stuff. Perhaps head into Thieves Town.
All right, so Violet up the Dark World portal over by the Smoldrum Cave. So hopefully she still thinks to pair Zora with Catfish.
It doesn't. No, I'm not sure the plan here. Definitely heading up to Hobo. Yeah, and this could be a critical problem for VioletPumpkin if we go down to Zora through the Whirlpool instead of taking the Catfish route.
Yeah, though she may also be thinking that she did get the magic cape and she does have the magic mirror, so she may be trying to route that in with like the north side Dark World tracks, but no, she's just going to Zora now.
Yeah. And you know, like I can't fault her for this. It's definitely the standard thing. Like you don't often think about how great an opportunity it is to route Catfish and Zora together.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, picking up the magic mushroom may allow her to route Witch into Catfish. Just another opportunity to head up in that direction, so...
Yeah, it's a weird seed that had like all the... And now we're here saying she really needs to get to Catfish.
Yeah.
No.
And...
Oh, go ahead.
And, you know, like, Catfish, it's nice to have the flute, but with Misery Mire not as a pendant, really absolutely needed. It's just...
Yeah, that is true, yeah. Yeah, if we can find the bug somewhere, that would render the flute redundant, though we would like the fast travel.
So the saving quit there as we reset. And Violet looks to be heading towards Death Mountain. So our first dark room as VioletPumpkin rescuing Uncle, or sorry, not Uncle, Old Man.
Yeah, and Unfit, coming into Thieves Town with powder and the bottle, seems to be having a little bit of an easier time with those safeties in his dungeon trip. Yeah.
Having the opportunity to use that potion, and there's a couple of anti-fairies to take advantage of. Just a lot nicer situation. Now we'll get our first look here at what's on top of Spectacle Rock. It is, in fact, 20 more rupees. We're getting a lot of the big 20s available to us. Underneath Spectacle Rock has a piece of heart. and VioletPumpkin is probably going to go through the portals and take care of that Tower of Paraplay.
Yeah, so assuming that she finds the big key in either of these first two chests, she'll be able to clear out this dungeon.
Oh, and there's the big key.
Ooh. And close call for Unfit, but he makes it through.
So chat correctly informing us that this isn't a true logic break, since we do know that flute is available for VioletPumpkin. So there's a lot of items potentially to be found, like we could still see the flute or the lantern. There's really nothing locked here. We'll have to keep an eye on the items picked up along the way here in Tower of Hera. So that key tells us that there's a chance, a non-zero chance, that the basement is going to be an item. VioletPumpkin setting up a bomb jump here, getting across first try, and that seals the deal. We do have an item locked in the basement somewhere, at least.
I appreciate, and as Violet gets her second crystal off Moldorm, I do appreciate that Unfit took the time to make a design in his dig game for us.
Mm-hmm. So, bow, mini Moldorm, given a bow.
Oh yeah, that too. That is also interesting.
Yeah. So second crystal, 32 minutes in. To go with it, the bow, opening up Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness. Clear choices for the next two dungeons that VioletPumpkin's likely to visit. And down a spiral cave we go. Now what's interesting here is, since Violet does not have silvers from the dam, probably waiting until Swamp Palace is available to go there in the first time. And I can't fault her for trying to efficiency up this place. That's, gonna delay things a little bit in Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace. Not by a lot, but a noticeable margin.
Yeah, especially the Helmasaur fight, if we don't find another sword upgrade, it's going to be really affected by that.
So first two chests here in Paradox Cave, net 3 bombs, and hey, there's that hook shot, so...
Okay.
It wasn't a hook shot on the Aga Lumberjack Ledge. And it wasn't the bow. So we're really just a fire rod and, for logic, a lantern away from go.
Yeah, at least from reaching Ganon's tower, because there is that 5 in 22 chance that we need Canis and Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need Master Sword, yes.
Yeah, but with so many places left to go and explore, the dungeon-wise, the chances of finding things along the way are pretty high.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Violet's going to go ahead and give us information here in the form of Turtle Rock Medallion requirement. As a runner, you're kind of hoping you won't have to do it, but seeing that it's Ether, neither runner has that yet. Yeah, and that is a great medallion for it to be because you know you don't have access. There's the fire!
Okay.
Wow. Another full heart container to go along with that. There's another piece of heart to try to get our health up a little bit. Oh no, Violet, you gotta be careful. And 10 bombs to round out your weapon loadout. But Hookshot Cave paying off.
Yeah, I'd say that was... So, Violet is Desert Palace access from Go mode. And we know where Flute is, but have yet to see the book.
Now, that's a Go mode with Dark Room logic skips. But the Dark Rooms that will be necessary are made somewhat easier by having the fire rod to light torches. So, really not too bad. And of course, additional sword and potentially boots necessary along the way. So it looks like we're going to see a Swamp Palace check, and this is going to give the silver arrows as well to VioletPumpkin. Of course, also could potentially be going for that mushroom. Yeah, Fermi in the chat there saying probably interesting to do Skull Woods before Swamp Palace, just in the off chance that you find what you need. Getting the opportunity to go mode.
Yeah, Skull Woods before Swamp would make sense, and Violet gets the silver arrows, but she may also be looking for a better weapon, maybe a better male, because Fighter Sword Mop is no one's dream fight.
Yeah, and so this seed, I don't really know what to make of it yet.
Yeah, because like we are in we might be in Go-to-Ganon's Tower mode shortly, but no boots, no red cane, no new sword. It's a weird seed.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're a comfortable runner, finding that last item for go mode at 45 minutes or so, if you're comfortable with all of the dark rooms, you know, could set a really speedy pace.
And honestly, the dark rooms in this seed aren't too bad. I mean, we have the potential for Dark Maze and Pod. But yeah, we don't have to do Mire Dark Rooms, which is always the best.
Yeah, like the hardest ones, I would say, are probably Misery Mires. And the next hardest ones are made simpler because of the fire rod, so lighting torches, I would think. Turtle Room and Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, the back room in Eastern.
big key there just nets the map, and VioletPumpkin's going to go for that left side skip, at least to start things off.
Yeah, I did get a map out of the big chest, so she knows there's an item back there, but, you know, with the entire, most of the world available to her.
Unfit picking up that bow along with the mold arm kill for 2 crystals.
Yep, and he is soon to find just every single thing on the other side of Death Mountain. I mentioned Fighter Sword Moth Boss being a bad fight, but many strats on Argus is kind of worse.
Yeah, it's a slideshow if you're going to use the hammer, but it's really not. It's just annoying. It's not really hard. It's just not fun to watch.
Yeah. So we have found one good use for the boomerang, because without that boomerang, this would be just an awful menu to work with right now.
So here we are hammering these arc puffs. Unfit picking up that hook shot from Paradox Cave. A nice find.
Yep, then switching to silver arrows to do a much quicker blast phase.
Yeah, that is very nice. Just a 20 rupee, but third crystal of the seed at 42 minutes.
Yeah, one item on left side. Hopefully we skip it.
Yeah. You know, it's a hard sell to skip. But VioletPumpkin pulling that trigger. So Corvus Mallory asking, why is it called the Paradox Cave? Well, it's quite simply a paradox. You enter, fall down, and the exit there takes you out to a cave entrance, typically next door to the one you went in. So how can you fall down and come out an entrance right next to where you entered? It's a paradox. So that fetch quest picked up by VioletPumpkin, that's a very positive thing. It does lure her up towards where we know the flute is at Catfish. But she's looking to go to Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, based on the routing she took out of the water there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this dude.
Yeah, Saharsla. He's got chests.
Yeah.
Oops. So 3 chests here at Saharsla's hut, net the piece of heart, another piece of heart, and 100 rupees. So nothing to write home about.
Yeah, not really worth remembering, I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, you got to go. You're right there.
Yeah.
This does slow down the Kiki acquisition if you're not careful, like Violet was right there.
Yeah.
You know, Violet, you might want to look and see what's going on.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, you do have to kind of just pause for a moment there at the exit, wait for Kiki to actually come and join you. So, interesting here, Palace of Darkness wasn't even bow locked. Not that it was difficult for them to find the bow. Meanwhile, Unfit has decided to head back to Desert Palace and make use of that. So we're getting another little bit of route. Desert yet needs that flute. And Landmole is dropping just 5 rupees there, but a third crystal for Unfit. So Violet going hard in the paint here, heading right back towards that Helmstar King right off the bat. Going to abandon or delay the checking of a bunch of chests here in Palace of Darkness.
Or she's just checking the bow side of chests, or the side of chests that is locked by the bow. Yeah, she doesn't have the big key yet.
Oh, that's true. Well, now she does.
Oh, hey, speak of the devil.
But it looks like we're gonna actually head. Yeah, we're gonna head to the back part. I spoke too soon.
Alright, just barely made it. Yeah, that arena room is low-key one of the dumbest rooms in the game if you have to do it the NMG way.
Yeah, it is kind
or
of...
not the NMG way, I get the casual way, because like you don't really see that outside of Rando.
So, 4 chests here in this area. We got 2 dark ones. They're not particularly challenging, and VioletPumpkin choosing not to light the torch right next to the entrance. Picks up a key from the first one. And it looks like maybe a capacity upgrade there or a dungeon item. Didn't see from the second one. Dark Maze. Now, some people look at the Dark Maze and think to themselves, oh my gosh, this is so hard, challenging. But keep in mind the runners are allowed to have aids with them in the form of maps and whatnot drawn out or downloaded. The only thing that they are limited from having is another person to talk to and bounce ideas off of. That is not permissible. Ooh, setting up Getting taken very low in health there by a Dodongo.
I'd say that's of some value with where the runners are sitting right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't fault a little bit better damage absorption. So interestingly enough, we're seeing the runners here kind of doing mirror dungeons, about to face off on the boss on Unfit side of Armos Knights. Clearly, Silver Arrows makes short work of this Eastern Palace boss. Picks up a piece of heart container and another crystal. VioletPumpkin doing the Dark World side of things in Palace of Darkness. It takes a little bit longer. I would be very surprised if we don't see the runners do a high five here as they work on the dungeon the previous one just completed.
It's always nice to get that cross-world high five in. So I am excited to see what Unfit's going to do with this dungeon, because again, he does have all the items that he needs to get to Ganon's Tower, and that big key was in the front half of Pod, so he may opt to just take that key and go to the boss. And maybe just leave this dungeon.
So Homicide King finally giving up the mask there. And a single silver arrow is going to put him down for good.
Yeah, Fighter Sword Homicide King is a lot less intimidating when you have the silvers. Oh, why not?
Fetch quest number 2. Hanging out there in the Helmosaur's pocket. And I expect we'll see a mirror over into Eastern Palace here.
Okay, so you get the big key. Where are you going to go from here, Unfit? Yeah, he's just going to go for it.
Yeah, now that does limit that blue armor. But he could also go back in immediately after this. And no, desert is not boots locked. In fact, it's already been done by one side. It is, however, require the flute to get to at this point.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that Violet, or I mean, that's one of several things that Violet could be searching for, is that blue pen. Yeah.
Needs the book or the flute to to get into desert. Flute was at Catfish, so my hope for Violet's sake is that she goes to do the Pyramid Ledge into... it actually makes a lot of sense for her to go Pyramid Ferry, Pyramid Ledge into Catfish, now that Eastern Palace is the other 5/6 crystal. Oof, Unfit having an amazing time through that turtle room, in the dark even. 3 swings to kill all of those turtles.
Yeah, one helpful thing about the fire rod strats is that, like, usually by the time you actually get that torch lit, is all the turtles have congregated on you, so you can just, like, get them out in, like, one fell swoop.
So yeah, there's still plenty of items, definitely needing another sword upgrade, but plenty of other items that could potentially be required here. The Canis Samaria, obviously, if Gannis Tower requires that right side check. Boots for a big key on the GT torch. Their Unfit completes the combination Palace of Darkness, Eastern Palace, slightly ahead of VioletPumpkin, and now looks to be heading towards that Pyramid Fairy check as well. Big Bomb. Something to be had, or could be going to Swamp.
Yeah, I think he's just going to Swamp. I think he's done. Like that pod. Like his go mode pod, that kind of tells me that he's just ready to go to Gannis Tower and, you know, let
risking it all.
Yeah.
Well, you do need to find a sword, so.
Yeah, so he's probably not going to completely go mode Swamp Palace. He's probably going to be checking like the 2 chests in like the drowned room and maybe the hidden waterfall chest. But yeah, this is yeah.
Yeah, now we know, of course, that that's not going to get what is necessary here. What's interesting is that VioletPumpkin has chosen to go to the Sanctuary. And I'm not entirely sure what her plan is.
I think Skullwoods. Skullwoods, yeah.
Yeah, clearly. And that's going to be some new checks for us as well. So the runner's kind of... it's hard to say. I'd say Unfit has somewhat of an advantage having found that flute already. So Desert Palace is accessible, and if the flute eludes VioletPumpkin and they never find the book, they may get stuck looking for it.
Yeah, the absolute worst case for Violet right now would be that she gets tempted into that Ice Palace play, because that is something that's available to her.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, like the 2 dungeons for each of them to complete. While going straight to the back half of Skullwoods here. And what is interesting is that there are no more dark rooms for VioletPumpkin to worry about, so that lantern is all said and done. Same goes for Unfit, so the one logical sequence break that they've made, or the one sequence break they've made, is no longer relevant.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both comfortable heading into Ganon's Tower with just the one fire source.
Yeah. Violet getting bounced around a little bit here by Spikes and Mothula. Ran out of magic on the Fire Rod, so sticking to spin attacks here with Fighter Sword. Nope, we're going to switch over to Hammer, realizing that this is going to take a long time.
Yeah, Fire Sword spins are technically safer, but they also do less damage, and nothing's safer than just getting the fight done as fast as possible. There we go.
There you go. One conk to the back of the head is all it took, and 50 rupees, so an item out of that for VioletPumpkin, not an item that you'd like to see. And Violet goes back in, looking to find the second item here at this chest. Yeah, at this point you start going, oh, I do want to find another sword.
And again, all these plays that Violet has been making have made sense because in her mind, like, she's 2 items away from go mode, so yeah.
Wow, this is a very exciting race to be watching. I don't really know what's going to happen. I want to say that I think Unfit has a slight advantage here. But since we now, if there's no weapon to be found Skull Woods, and as we know, there's no weapon there in Swamp Palace either, it's going to become a race to who can find a Master Sword. And maybe the boots and maybe Canis Amaria.
Yeah, because if we get a situation where Ganon's Tower is Red Cane locked or Boots locked, Violet will have like a little bit more locations checked over Unfit.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we don't just find those items in Ganon's Tower.
And still on the hunt in Skull Woods for that second item. Oh, there it is. So, Violet, what overworld check do you make now? Looks like we're heading towards Bumper Cave and the North Route. Again, this could ultimately, logically end in a trip to Catfish. So that's the play that she definitely wants to be making. We'll see if that happens. 20 rupees up on Bumper. Graveyard Ledge, next item to be searched. I like this because also a mirror over to turn in the fetch quest of the mushroom at the is another check that Violet can make.
Yeah, I don't think Unfit turned his in at all. But she didn't save and quit, so she's got to be on that way to catfish.
Yeah, and I feel like this is, you know, the checks that you're making, it just makes absolute sense to go this way. Can't actually go to King's Tomb, don't have boots. And just hop across the water here, mirror up that mushroom. Yeah, Unfit has not picked up the mushroom, but does have powder, so perhaps the bat could curse you with the Master Sword.
Oh.
Well, you got it if you need it. Actually, you know, with no half magic, it might make Ganon fight a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, and it's gonna make that one torch room against his tower easier as well. But yeah, you're just sitting here thinking, it's gotta be something big, and that was just like...
I know, I was actually holding my breath a little bit there, just going, oh, will it be something good? But nope. So Violet's now going to be really happy to see this flute. And will immediately save and quit, head back to Kakariko Village. And we are in an interesting spot on Unfit's side because, I'm sorry guys, we almost missed it. But Unfit has done all Sylvan Crystals.
Yeah, he is in go to Ganon's tower mode.
He's in go to Ganon's tower mode. That seems to be his intention here. So we are on the ALTTP randomizer chest, so there is no official game of Guess the Big Key location, but we might as well play it. So if you're interested, why don't you enter a number between 1 and 22 in the chat right now and see if you can guess where Ganon's Tower Big Key will be located. Now, what this means is in the event that Unfit can't complete Ganon's Tower and has to leave, that's where the item check count goes from. So whoever enters the tower first, that's who we count. And if that means that he has to stop and head out for boots or the Cane of Samaria, we're just going to have to put the game on pause until he gets back in. So I'm going to go with something really nice like 1. That's my guess. I just want this seed to go just to blow up. And here VioletPumpkin hasn't even been able to show Sick Kid the red bottle to get another bottle of Red Goo. That's how straightforward the seed has been for him. It's not that, so Sakura left, how does not having half magic make Ganon's Tower easier? It doesn't. I said that having the lantern makes Ganon's Tower easier when you don't have half magic, because you can afford to spam that phase 4 Ganon fight to get the torch glitch a little bit easier than you can when you have only 8 shots. So Unfit now entering Ganon's Tower with no boots, no cane, no Master Sword. Watch you be able to pick up the key, but can't find a sword. Sword upgrade on Torch. Ooh. So it's standard chest 1. Hell, there's Cane of Samaria, so that's pleasant. And a key. Unfit lured into going right side as a result, so hey. Items check 1 and 2. That's a convenient situation. And Unfit doing one thing that I rarely see players do, and that's remembering that the silver arrows really can kill Gyarados in one shot. So chest number 4. Chest number 4 is the big key. Still no Master Sword. What do you do in this situation, Welsh? Do you think that Unfit clears all of the chests here in Ganstar before going up? That's what I think is going to have happen. So another key there on the torch. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, you gotta find a Master Sword now. So Unfit now making the way towards Fire Snake's room as VioletPumpkin finishes off the hunt for crystals, and will be heading up to Ganon's tower now.
Yeah, this is just intense. I just don't know how to handle this.
Randomizer room is now the next check. And the problem here is, in the event that they find no sword upgrade in Ganon's tower at all, half magic, that's nice. Another heart container for Unfit. There's the Book of Medora.
Of course, why wouldn't that be there? Yeah, this was
You know what? Let's go check and see if it's a Master Sword on pedestal.
I mean, it could be the speed gaming chat dream of Master Sword on pedestal, the other two swords on both tablet. So this is ALTTP randomizer chat. Y'all wouldn't be that cruel.
So we're gonna get our Armos Knight fight after we look at what's Bob got behind his chest. Oh no, the beetle there blocking that bomb jump.
Oh.
Oh no, second beetle.
From downtown, dude.
The troll. It is real.
Beetle was just on a mission.
Yeah, man, that was like a beeline straight there, and Unfit, who getting that bomb. Knock there. Awesome. Bob sacrificed for a fairy. Bob 2 hanging out in the corner. And the cane found on Violet's side. And also making the correct call here, because this is where to get the big key. It's just not where to get a sword. Oh, Master Sword located along with the artisanal single arrow and another piece of heart that actually refills Unfit. So, go mode formally achieved. Unfit is ready to make the climb here at 1 hour, 15 minutes, 5 seconds. Amazing. Amazing situation.
So Violet could save some time if she opts to go full right side clear here. We'll see if that's what she wants to do.
Yeah, and that would be a money call. Not many people like to go through the full right side because there's that treacherous bridge that is just awful. And when you don't have the correct items to skip it, she does have the cape, so she could. But instead is going to go and do the same pathway that Unfit did. Unfortunately, not the best possible solution for her, but it is now Unfit's game to lose as the climb is all that remains for him. Yeah, I can't believe this. This seed kind of was pretty amazing. It was a jet seed, to say the very least. And our runners didn't waste much time on it. Neither of them went into any of the pendant dungeons. Very few extraneous overworld checks were made. Could there have been some time saves? Absolutely, but that's, you can't expect a perfect play unless somebody has absolutely godlike luck.
Violet is going through the gauntlet now.
Oof.
Oh, she is not going to get that Master Sword on Armos.
Yeah, so hoping to find another Master Sword. This could change things. And she doesn't know it necessarily, but this is really her only hope. Unfit, though, still significantly far ahead. A couple of minutes at the very least. So, Wizrobe Room with the newly acquired Cane of Samaria, so very nice. Second Wizard Room, also one cycle, so very awesome. Excellent use of the cape on Unfit's side there for that part of the bridge can be really tricky when you don't have the boots. Usually you kind of have the boots to back you up. And everything kind of came up in the runner's direction, like picking up all of these utility items along the way that, things like half magic, an armor item, the Cane of Samaria there.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have asked for a better situation. Now, 5 bomb capacity upgrade. Unfit's certainly looking for Tempered Swords. Not going to find it here. Still has a couple of chests left.
Just 5 rupees. Getting kind of nervous for Violet.
Yeah, and so this means that she's got to hope that there's a sword upgrade here after Trolldorm 2. She's having a really great climb up Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, this is absolutely a solid fighter sword gauntlet.
Her gauntlet has been extraordinary. And the last chance for her, she doesn't know this yet, but unfortunately Unfit, demonstrating that it's just 3 bombs in that final chest. So Violet's going to have to turn around and go back, or mirror back, and look elsewhere for the sword upgrade. Which means that Unfit's technically going to have at least 3 or 4 solid attempts at Ganon, if not more, in order to claim victory.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario for Violet is if Pyramid Fairy has that second sword, but yeah, it's kind of Unfit's race to lose at this point.
Yeah. So another double to finish off Aga 2. And at 1 hour, 20 minutes, 25 seconds, on the way to Ganon fight. Very, very speedy seed. Now keep in mind, folks, this round and the round of 64 and all of the bracket rounds are still best of threes, so this by no means is the end for VioletPumpkin. She's going to have another opportunity to even this up. Looks like their next scheduled matchup is going to be tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. And it will be me talking to you again for that one. And then if it does indeed need a third game, they will be playing on Friday.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that game 3, because you can see how close these runners are to each other.
So is Unfit making use of those cape strats here with the half magic to get a lot of hits on Ganon. Remember, Master Sword Ganon does require you to hit those spin shots to do any damage. So might as well make use of that to get through these first two phases. And phase 3 acquired. Take this opportunity to remind everybody viewing that these runners, you know, they've been putting on a great show for us. Lots of entertainment, lots of excitement. If you take a moment to look in the chat channel, you can see the links to their particular channels. Go ahead and throw them a follow. I'm sure they'd greatly appreciate all the love and affection that you can show them. And VioletPumpkin gets to Ganon. Can't do any damage to him without the Sword of Evil's Bane, of course. As Unfit takes down the final boss here and will now be able to enter the Triforce room as long as he's able to cross this incredibly treacherous 3-tile wide bridge. And we'll finish with an official speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 10 seconds. Congratulations. Let's throw some GGs up in the chat for Unfit. And we'll get an opportunity to have a chat with him momentarily. So now the real question is, where will Violet find a sword upgrade? Looks like just gonna check desert. Did she go mode desert? Maybe. So we do know that this will not net a Master Sword upgrade, just the magic powder, but that might get one. Nobody went and checked that. Instead, Violet might be actually entering Checkerboard Cave. Oh, did we see that? It was the red meringue? Okay. So Unfit has joined us in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them up in chat. I would like to ask him, take a moment here to discuss. What do you think about that seed? Did you have any specific kind of like, oh my goodness, what is going on here? Moments. So if we give him an opportunity to answer, that would be great. So dig game now for VioletPumpkin. Is it Ether? Well, there's access to Turtle Rock. And I'm not sure. Violet is now going to go ahead and check Pyramid Fairy, which is, again, a nice option. So I apologize to everybody viewing here. It seems that Welsh is having just a little bit of trouble with his mic. Probably get that straightened away. So it's just me and you guys as VioletPumpkin is blowing up this door. Come on, Master Sword. Where will you be found? Not here, it seems. Now, I don't think I've had quite a time like this. And Violet is heading up to, presumably heading up, maybe checking that Ether medallion. No, she hasn't picked up the book yet, so gonna go and do the Ganon's Tower, rest of Ganon's Tower, looking for a sword. Now, we do know that that will be where a sword is successfully found.
It could potentially also be Turtle Rock.
Oh yeah, she did pick up that Ether, so wow.
And it honestly wouldn't surprise me to see like a sword or two in Turtle Rock, because that cane was just sitting in Ganon's Tower this whole time, and obviously all swords block.
Yeah, so we'll see where she chooses to go. Now, presumably she's seen that Unfit has finished the race, so nope, she's going to go into Ganon's Tower again. And maybe that's, there's a bit of meta gaming to that effect. That might be an indicator for her that, hey, he found a sword somewhere along the way. She has to know that she was relatively close behind before he was able to finish, because she knows that she was in Ganon's Tower. So
yeah, I think she's figured out that there's a sword on the left side. Yeah, I really want to see what's in Turtle Rock. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was, you know, the time that this seed is going to show at the end is not indicative of how close this race was. It's really just one trolley item that Unfit, you know, did locate and VioletPumpkin gambled on. They would have been within a few minutes at the very most had she continued up the tower after picking up the big key. Oh, Violet, you have to remember to use the block. And there we see on Unfit's side a collection rate of 136 out of 216 items. That's low. You know, I've seen lower, but that's a really nice number. And the time it took to complete the seed is definitely reflected in that.
But keep in mind, that's a collection rate with a full clear of Ganon's tower included.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, except for the big key chest, which you do sometimes get to see. Not very often. And there's also a couple of like items looked at along the way. So, for example, the the torch that they didn't bonk off of because they didn't have boots. That's another item that you sort of know it's there, you just didn't pick it up. Oh, here we go. Oh, 50 rupees. See, I was excited for a moment. That would have been neat.
Yeah, if
Let's
only.
see if the beetles cause as much problems.
Oh, nice recovery. Oh, man.
Ooh, low health as well. But, oh no, be careful.
Oh, but this is actually kind of nifty given her situation, because when she failed that bomb jump, she just respawned from like a closer point and was able to just hookshot back here. So that was, yeah, that was cool knowledge.
Yep. So here we have a more traditional Bob situation, not Bob 1 and Bob 2. Until you create Bob 2. Oh, and now I have to admit, I have to say, and I'm sure if we get an opportunity to have a chat with her after the race, the frustration has to be real when you get here and you realize that all you had to do was open up this chest behind Armos Knight, grab that extra arrow, and Master Sword, and up to Ganon you can go.
Oh, and that was also real smart, realizing that if you mirrored at the top of that staircase, you would have just bonked in the middle of Tower of Hera.
Yeah, you have to move a little bit.
Yeah.
So, funnily enough, this is the closest flute spot. I guess you could save and quit at Link's house as well. Now, wouldn't it be Violet did remember, but I can recall a time where something similar like this happened to me, and I forgot that I didn't have to climb Ganon's tower again. And didn't just come to the pyramid to fall down the hole.
Oh, really?
Yes. My embarrassment level was very high.
Oh, yikes. I mean, it makes sense, though. You have to, like, go all the way back and fight Ogden too to reopen the portal.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, I kind of get it.
Getting some excellent spins here. Trident. Getting some good doubles there. Gotta be careful. Starting to get low on health, but knocked Ganon into phase 3.
Yeah, hard part's over. Just gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you know, if you're not a regular player of this game, it's amazing how much harder having to do spin hits on Ganon really makes this fight. In almost every phase, it's significantly difficulty increase in the challenge. Obviously, phase 1 and 2 are the harder of the two, like, levels of difficulty, but phase 3 can cause problems as well with those fire bats.
Yeah, absolutely. And even in phase 4, like, if you're not, like, really sure where you're spinning after you get... Oh, ooh, okay, we're good.
So close. More hits on Ganon. And there goes Ganon down, and we will see Violet complete this race. GG. Let's throw some congratulations up in the chat. You know, it's hard to come back from that situation, but Violet has done so with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 50 seconds. Still an amazing time, nothing to be upset with, other than the fact that unfortunately was not sufficient to claim victory.
Yeah, GG, Violet. That was a very good run. You played that seed about as well as you could.
Yeah, and that's just bad luck at that point. You know, like, the seed didn't throw what you needed your way, and so, you know, a mistake that, you know, a gamble that didn't pay off, and that's what Randomizer is all about, ladies and gentlemen. So it was an exciting race. Unfortunately, both of our runners not able to join us for a chat this evening, but this was only game 1 of a best-of-3 matchup. So as I said earlier, if you liked what you saw on Speed Gaming 4 tomorrow, Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can watch Game 2 between these two players, and I hope to see you all there. Any final thoughts that you'd like to throw in here, Walsh, at this time?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to our track for the evening, Oddwalls, keeping those buttons lit up. That was very good work you did, especially with all that early divergence. Yeah, thank you to our restreamer, Tiru, and thank you to for commentary, Growthone.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know it was some last minute, but it certainly makes it a little bit easier having a person to talk to instead of being all by myself. Thanks everybody for watching. Remember, once again, throw these two runners your follows and love in their respective channels, and we will let me go. Well, you know what? Let me just remind you all that at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time today, so in progress right now on Speed Gaming 4 is Salty Fry versus Number Play. So if you want to head on over there, you can go watch that. Jacobs for Life versus Jay Meisher is also potentially still in progress on Speed Gaming 2. So lots of randomizer that you can still be watching. And I believe that is about it for this evening. So thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in future races.
Have a good night.